So I started doing this work, I would say, 2020, Dolly. December 2020 is when I got my surgery, and that was the thing that triggered my baseline to be at 1,000, and to, it was the last 18 drops to my bucket to be full and overflow. And that's when all these symptoms, like I had maybe 5 or 7 symptoms, and then all of a sudden it was like a shit show of symptoms that came all at once, right? With the food sensitivities, all of a sudden I was reacting and allergic and sensitive to all foods except beef and rice. Starting 2021, right in the beginning, January, I started the program DNRS. I started in February, mid-February, and it took me about half a month. Like, I don't even count February because it took me half a month just to figure out what the hell was going on and to learn, this new concept of healing, which I didn't understand. I didn't understand how neural pathways cured people of diseases and chronic illness and anxiety and gut issues. I'm like, so what? You create a pathway? It's this neural pathway, and then what? Symptoms just go poof? That doesn't make any sense. It's interesting. I want to know about it. But so I was still holding on to all the research that I did for the past 15 years before that, right? Trying to heal my gut, trying all these different supplements, trying to balance out something, right? Different protocols, healing my gut, the leaky gut, bombing your gut with supplements and protocols, and getting my biome back to normal, and bacteria this, and fecal transplant that. I was doing all kinds of I was going down all kinds of rabbit holes. But if we were to talk about timelines of when I started, I would say March of 2021. That's when I was like, okay, I know what I'm supposed to do. So I started doing the work. 2021 to 2022 to 2023. So 2 years. My dog passed away right when I started recovering. And I kept doing the work. And you can see I started doing, I think I started doing videos 2.5 years into it. And if you watch some of my old, I'm going to put a couple of old videos up here. I was really uncomfortable in front of the camera, so that, I try to keep that in mind. But, okay, so I was just recovered. I was probably, recovered within 4 months-ish. And before that, I was, comfortable with my discomfort. So for me, that's recovery already, right? So 2 years into this, I still had symptoms, but I was living life. So technically, that's recovery, right? And if you were to look at a video from a year ago today, right? Recovered. This is why I say, don't stop your journey. Keep going, because you're going to go deeper. You don't realize it, right? Just because your target symptoms that you started getting halfway through, right? And then all the rest, when your bucket is full, just because they're gone doesn't mean you shouldn't keep going. But from if you look at it in a contrasting view, it's way better, right? You went from 70 symptoms to 1 or 2, right? 1 or 2 or 3. And for you, that's like a different planet, different reality. Holy shit, I feel amazing. Compared to, it's hard to gauge when you've been sick, intensely sick, with 70 symptoms, right? 70, 80, or 60, or whatever you're dealing with. You're in this reality, right? Your all your beliefs and the way you view the world has to do with this glowing alarm that you're around, right? Everything, coping mechanisms, fears, right? Symptoms, 70 symptoms is all around this ball of survival, fight or flight, with alarms ringing. Your baseline's at 1,000, right? Your baseline's at 1,000. Your bucket's full. So that consumes you. That becomes your reality. That's all you know. That's all you understand. And then when you have like 3 left, That's a huge, huge difference, right? So we think this is amazing. I feel amazing. Okay, I'm done. All right, right. But I still kept going because I told myself I'm going to do this for another 2 to 3 years. And then I eventually said, I'm doing this for the rest of my life. This is a lifestyle. This isn't a program. This is, in the beginning I had to do, okay, 2 years, sticking to the program no matter what. Head first, very disciplined, very fucking, right, anal. I'm doing it, blah, 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 very strict. Then I switched it to 5 years, no matter what, how make this deal with yourself. You're going to do this for 5 years because we got to go deeper. And I started seeing some of the success stories from DNRS and some of my friends that I was talking with. And they were saying that, what, Dolly? That when they did the success stories, they're like, yeah, I'm recovered. I got my life back, oh my God, this is so good. And they're like crying, oh, it's so hard, oh my God, but I feel like I can finally eat all the foods. I don't have to go around. I don't have to avoid any of the chemicals. This is, a blessing, right? Oh my God, right? And it is. It's huge. But like some people, they stuck with it. They kept going, and some people didn't. I talked to them a year after they recovered and their success stories, right? And they said, Helmut, I got to tell you, I thought I was recovered, but I really wasn't. But I felt like I was compared to, in contrast. And it's good that I kept going because, when I thought I recovered, a year later, right now, huge changes. I went deeper. And there were so many things that I didn't realize that would come up unless I went through it. Right? That's why I say, keep going. Stay on the path. Go deeper. Okay, all your symptoms are gone. Fantastic. You've just, let's just say it again. You've just earned your recovery. And that's massive. You should get a medal. They should have a parade. They should name a fucking day after you. You should have a street named after you. You defied gravity. You're an Olympian. You should have people watching you on TV, and you should be holding a gold medal, right? Popping the champagne, crying with your family there. That should happen. But if you only knew, right, then you should celebrate. Do it. It's huge. Like you can live life. You've done it. Right? Congratulations. Let's cut the ribbon. But this is why I say keep going. As good as you feel, you think you feel, and that, it took me, let's say, this is how I thought I was fine. If you watch the video, huge difference, right? If you watch the video of how I was a year ago when I thought I was fully recovered, compared to now, going deeper, you start to heal things that you didn't know were an issue, right? Behavior changes, things you like, you grow spiritually, you start to explore life more, you have more self-discovery, you're more in tune, right? You're more in touch with your higher self spiritually. You start to tap into fucking consciousness and get downloads, and you're dialing in that frequency a lot easier. You're starting to understand things. You start to have more of a knowing. You have more confidence in life, more of an excitement, more of a fire with life. So, and like I said, confidence, it changes everything. It's like, let's explore life, right? And you can even see, if you look a year ago in my video, sure, I was recovered, but I look more vibrant now. I look happier, right? I gained some weight. So you could think of that as a negative, but the gaining of the weight happened because I was just enjoying life, right? Before I had safe foods, so everything was strict. Everything was, I was in a state of fight or flight. My voice was shaky. I had 70 symptoms. I was like constantly sticking to the pattern, sticking to the path, sticking to my routine, sticking to my schedule, doing my visuals every day, right? I was ascending my mood, right? I was raising my mood every day, elevating, right? Dancing, doing all the pillars, allowing and engaging. I wasn't distracting. I wasn't saying stop, right? I wasn't redirecting. I wasn't trying to be in the present moment, because all those things are resistance that brings your baseline up, right? And it just, when your baseline's at a survival state, what is it? Its job? What's its job? To send more alarms. And then you feel uncomfortable again with the alarms, and you're looping OCD, and then, right? So, okay, a year ago, I felt great. I was like, compared to how I felt 2000, well, compared to how I felt 15 years before that, right? But it was really intense with the 70 symptoms, 2021, January. But I'm glad that I stuck to my promise, and I'm still sticking to this promise that I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. If not, at least 5 more years from now, right? I made a promise. It's a contract I made with myself, right? And at that time, I made a promise to stick with it for 3 to 5 years. I'm glad I did. And you can see the differences, right? When I'm speaking, my voice is a little thin still. I look good, but an unhealthy good, right? I look like a thinner, stressed good, if that makes any sense. And you can see that. You might have some friends or people that you know that stress-ercise, right? They look thin, they look good, they might have a six-pack, they're ripped, right? Either or, they're running 12 kilometers a day, or, they have a routine where they're just working out, and they're, right? And it shows, but it doesn't always reflect that they're healthy. It just means that their body's coping, and they're losing weight, and they're gaining muscle, but they're stress-ercising. They're still in a higher state. Survival. Their baseline's up still, but they're ripped, right? Your baseline's at a 1,000, but you're ripped. So people assume, oh, he's healthy, he's good, right? And that's not always the truth, right? Thin people can have heart attacks. Thin people can have health problems, not just people that are overweight, right? So I gained more weight, but I feel healthier. My personality's also opened up a bit more because I got back into the swing of life. My training wasn't over, even though I recovered, right? When you go deeper, you're opening more doors, right? And that's all we're doing. With this journey of recovery, you're opening doors, big doors with all kinds of lava and fire behind it, right? That's uncomfortable. You take 10 steps back, you get triggered, you feel like shit. That's why I always say, during this journey of recovery, you're gonna feel like shit. It's up and down, crazy. It's like you're having an exorcism, right? And near the end, it does feel a little bit better, but you have bigger spikes, right? It gets more intense, but there is more relief the more you do the work. But the spikes are more intense. But the work isn't done because, we're opening all these new doors, right? And we're exposing to life. Life is still throwing you curveballs like it always does, but we're exposing ourselves to new things that we're able to do again that we weren't before, right? You're going out, you're eating food, you're going to restaurants, you're partying, you're having, going to hang out with your friends. You're starting to realize how some of your friends that you used to talk to aren't really right. You don't jive with them anymore. You're a changed person because you've changed all the layers of the onion. You become a new person. The old self is dying, right? You're transitioning. You're still almost with a new program, right? So you've recovered, but you're still shifting, right? There's still shifts happening. And these shifts happen when you open more doors, expose yourself to things that are uncomfortable. And while you're doing that, you're always taking 10 steps back, right? And then you leap forward because you're constantly building leverage, recalibrating. So you move forward. It's like, you fall back, and then leverage, returning champion level. Okay, let's keep going. Let's open this door. 10 steps back, right? And then you recalibrate. The alarms are turned off. Baseline comes down. Right? You move forward in leaps and bounds. And you just keep doing that. And that's the whole journey. It's like that, right? You move forward. You feel like shit. Take 10 steps back, right? But you gain leverage. You move forward quicker. So it's like, right? That's how it goes. And after you recovered, it still keeps doing that. Maybe less dramatic. Maybe it's like, right? It's less intense, less dramatic, but you're still moving forward, and you might not realize it because the contrast isn't slapping you in the face as hard, right? So it's also harder to notice these changes. Do you get what I'm saying? You don't notice them as much because you don't have targets that are lifting. When you have a target, it's either there or it's fucking gone, right? And when it's there, it's like, oh, I still have to work on this fucking, right? When it's gone, it's like, right? But if you have nothing to reach for, no contrast, right? Then you don't really feel where you're at. And the only way you feel where you're at is time, right? Give it a year, look back and go, oh shit, there's major differences. But you don't notice them right away. It's like if you had a plane flying to a destination, decide to change its path just by this much, right? In the beginning, it's like, we're going to change it by 5 degrees. So instead of it going this way, it's going this way. So it's very little difference, right? But then 50,000 kilometers later, that path has changed and it's massive. But in the beginning, you don't notice it. The only way you notice it is a year later looking back. And you're like, damn, look at all the changes that I've made, right? Sure, I might have looked healthier because I was thinner, but don't forget, I was in a state of fight or flight. That thinness was still lingering survival state, right? When you're getting out of a survival state, you're going to gain weight. And I went through a point where my weight skyrocketed. I was like, oh, right? Now I'm at a point where my body decides a healthy weight for me, right? It's a little bigger. And if I want to lose weight, I actually find myself that I can lose it really quickly, right? And if I decide to binge and eat like shit for a weekend, I don't gain a lot back, which is kind of cool. What else is different? My personality is more vibrant, and it's a little bit of an unfair comparison because I was uncomfortable in front of a camera in the beginning. Right. But that didn't take much for me to get over, right? So now I'm like, whatever, I'm comfortable, right? But my personality is also more comfortable in itself, right? It's like my soul and in my mind is wearing an old glove, and you're wearing those old comfortable slippers. I feel comfortable in myself, if that makes any sense. My voice is a little different. You could tell, right? You can tell that some of the differences, and you might notice them. Check out my old video and compare to how I am now, and you can see the difference that 1 year can make, right? And the point I'm trying to make is, you might not notice the changes in the beginning, but give it a year, give it 2 years, give it 3 years, right? Stick to the path. Keep going deeper, even after you're recovered, right? Give yourself 2 years, give yourself 3 years, then do the 5-year contract. So first do the 2-year contract, then do the 3-year contract, then do the 5-year contract. Yeah, I know. It's a lot of contracts, but trust me, it's worth it, right? Once you're past the 2 years, you're going deeper, right? 3 years, 5 years, you're spiritually growing, you're discovering yourself, you're becoming a new person, you're learning things about yourself that you've never learned before, you're doing things that you've never done before, you're stopping certain behavior patterns that you realized you couldn't believe you were doing, right? You're cutting certain people out of your life that you understand why you got sick. It's like, no wonder why. I was surrounding myself with these type of people. I was doing this and I was doing that, and I didn't like this person and that situation and this behavior pattern and this way of thinking, and well, no wonder why I ended up the way I was. And sometimes you don't realize that until you have a couple of years to look back and go, wow, look how I've changed. Thank goodness in the beginning I created a bubble. Thank goodness in the beginning I took the time to be aware of my behavior patterns, because you can't change anything unless you're aware, right? And then, okay, you're aware of something that you do, right? Let's say you talk about symptoms. You talk about how much your life sucks. You're Mr. Negative. You're Miss Negative Nancy. And then you're like, shit, man, I do that a lot. Okay, well, I got to catch my old behavior patterns. Because if you don't catch your old behavior patterns, right, and you don't change them, you will always be stuck. And not just change them, be consistent with your changes and stay the change. Here's the big thing. Sure, on Tuesday you might have been like, oh shit, I caught this behavior pattern. Okay, I gotta stop, I gotta change it. Okay, I'm changing it. Thank goodness I caught it, right? 7 weeks later, you're doing the same old behavior pattern. It's gonna pull you back, right? It's a neural pathway. It's been working, that neural pathway. That highway is thick, right? It's working. You got thousands of cars driving on that highway, right? And then you just decide to drive on this highway once. Okay. Do you think that new neural pathway that you just drove through one time is going to be the new pathway that the brain chooses? No. You have to work that one. You have to make it better, stronger, smoother, easier, bigger, and let that old pathway dissolve and die. And the only way to do that is to stick to catching your behavior patterns and being consistent, going, oh shit, I did that thing again. Oh shit, I did that thing again. Change it. Oh shit, I did that thing again. Redirect and change it. Oh shit, I did that bagel. Oh, that's what they go to the bagel. But I'm hungry and I want a bagel, right? That makes sense. So you gotta be consistent, constantly. Because if you're not being aware and changing and being aware and changing and being aware of changing, what happens is you just be aware, change, and you go back to the old behavior pattern because you're not being consistent with being aware and changing. So after you've done the grueling journey of just recovering, where you're able to, live life fully, even if you have a couple of symptoms, that's still considered recovery, right? Go deeper, because you're not aware of what else you can heal, right? And it's not just healing, it's also expanding, right? Physically, mentally, spiritually, you're expanding into new territories that you've never expanded to, right? You're doing a lot of self-discovery, and it's amazing. It's beautiful. So keep going. Trust me, keep going. And also, if you keep going, you're going past the recovery threshold, so that when you keep going, right, your bucket's emptier, because when life throws you curveballs, it'll fill up, and then you'll be able to use your tools again to bring it back down. But if you're up here, right? If you're up here and the life throws you curveballs like it always does, it's going to be like, oh, fuck, here we go again, right? Oh, it's going to overflow. It's getting there. It's going to be my perfect storm again. And then I got to be on the fucking program again. Fuck that. No. You don't want to do the work, be on a program, then stop it. Get symptoms come back, bucket fills up again, and then restart everything. No, you want to keep this going as a lifestyle so that you're constantly maintaining the loads that are at a minimum, because loads move up and down. That's normal. They're supposed to do that. Your body's able to handle loads going up and down, right? It's like no problem, right? You get a flu, you get a cold, the body's able to process it. You might feel 2% of it, right? You're still like, oh buddy, I felt sick for like a half hour, right? Not like my old self. I would have been sick for like 3 weeks, 3 months, right? With 70 symptoms, suffering, succotash. So it's like, okay, let's say, because you know what, if you keep sticking to this is training in the beginning, being one of those people that stick to it. You're actually training to be one of those people that sticks to life, right? Going through this health journey is training you to be accountable in life, because after this you're going to be doing the same. The tools that you've learned, these habits that you've gained, you're going to put towards other things in your life, right? That's just going to move you forward, and you're going to be able to create the reality that you want. So being ill, right, going through this journey of recovery is like a transferable skills that you're learning. If I stick to this journey of recovery, I should be, all the skills that I learned, I should be a professional plumber, a race car driver, right? I should be, an engineer with all the tools that not like that, but like that, kind of, you know what I mean? You are learning so much shit in that period that it's going to be transferable skills through life, creating your reality, right? Manifesting the shit you want, right? being in the flow of life. A year ago, I was recovered, but I wasn't fully in the flow of life. I wasn't fully vibrating high, right? I still need to build up to that. Right now, I'm sure I got more work to do, and I'm okay with that, because for me, that's my journey. That's my exciting journey that I'm going to keep vibrating higher and higher and higher. Self-discovery, creating the life that I want. This is the journey, is what it's all about. This is the fun shit, right? Getting there. Just getting there and getting all this shit, that's not fun. Sure, it's fun for maybe a day, but after that, it's like, well, I got nothing to do now. What's the point of that, right? No, getting there and learning all that shit to getting there and having resistance along the way and having discovery and going, man, I worked my ass off to get this thing. That's what feels amazing. Just getting shit doesn't feel amazing. It's like, meh. It's kind of sad, actually, right? So do yourself a favor, make contracts with yourself. Go, I'm going to stick to this for 2 years, then 3, then 5. And then when you're at 5, go, I'm going to keep doing this for the rest of my life, because I keep finding out more shit about myself that I love. I keep expanding into this massive being, right, that was always there, but you didn't know was there. You're discovering yourself and being in tune with your higher self, right? And this affects you mentally, physically, right? Mentally, physically, and spiritually, right? And then when you're in tune with yourself, there's nothing stopping you. So make that promise. Stick with it and check out my old video and see the contrast, right? That we don't see right away, but it shows itself when you're on the path for a while and you look back and you go, whoa, shit. Let's look back 2 years ago. Whoa. Let's look back a year ago. Let's look back 6 months ago. Wow, right? And I wrote all my shit down. My journey was all written down. My plans, what I'm doing, right? I was scheduling my weeks. I have a bunch of books, and when I look back, I'm like, wow, look at all this shit that I was planning, my goals, and how they morphed and changed to now. Just imagine, when I keep documenting my life, what some of these books are going to look like in 10 years from now. It's going to be insane. And I hope you stick around and join me on this journey. Let's do this together. Can you guys do me a favor and like and share, of course, if you know somebody that needs this, that it can help, share and hit that notification bell so that you know when I'm going live or when there's a new video up. Because I've noticed that sometimes I'll go live and then nobody even knew about it, right? And sometimes I forget to post that I'm going to go live. So that's something I got to work on. But yeah, hit the notification bell. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, because that helps me get the algorithms, show my videos more so I can help more people, because that's my goal, is to help as many people as possible and get them healed, right? Get you in and out. Get the fuck out, live your life. Get you healed, get the fuck out.